Topic 9.8 and 10.5. Objective. I have learned to add fractions and mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Today I will learn how to subtract fractions and mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Pause the video now to write this in your math spiral. When in everyday life might you want to subtract fractions or mixed numbers with different denominators? In everyday life, you would subtract fractions or mixed numbers when you are measuring amounts for recipes or comparing lengths or measuring distances. If you did well in adding mixed numbers and fractions, you'll do fine here. Pose the problem. Rose bought 4/6 yards of copper pipe. She used 1/2 yard to repair the shower. How much pipe does she have left? You may use fraction strips or drawings to help solve the problem. Record your work and your answer in your math spiral. Pause the video now. Don't forget, find a least common denominator by listing out multiples. You guessed it, 6 is the least common multiple, therefore it's the least common denominator. So, I take it, and I leave my 4/6 because it already has a denominator of 6. So I come down here and I put it across from 1/2. I say, how many 2's go into 6? 2 times 3. So my denominator is multiplied by 3, so my numerator is multiplied by 3. So now I have 3/6 and 4/6. So now I subtract. When I subtract, I get 4/6 minus 3/6 is 4 minus 3 is 1, and I leave the denominator the same. And this is a 6, just hard to see. If you don't have this down in your journal, please write it now. You should have, though, since it's just like adding, except for we have a subtraction sign. For your next problem, Rose bought 7/8 yards of copper pipe. She used 5/6 yards to repair the shower. How much pipe does she have left? You may use fraction strips or drawings to help solve the problem. Record your work and your answer in your math spiral. Find a least common denominator by listing out the multiples. Pause the video now to do so. Okay, they both have 0 in common, and 24 is the least one they have in common. So the least common multiple is 24, which makes your least common denominator 24. So I take 24, I put it across from 7/8. 8 times what is 24? It's 3. So I multiply my denominator by 3 and my numerator by 3. Then I put 5/6 across from 24. 6 times what gives me 24? The answer is 4. So 4 is the answer I multiply my denominator by and my numerator. So now I subtract. 21 minus 20 is 1. And of course I leave the like denominator, 24. If you don't have this written, please do so now, but you should have by now know how to do this. So make sure you do the work, then check your answer. Evan is walking 2 1/8 miles to his aunt's house. He has already walked 3/4 of a mile. How much farther does he have to go? Solve any way you choose. If needed, use a drawing to help solve the problem. Record the solution and explain the steps you take to solve the problem in your math spiral. Find a least common denominator by listing out multiples. Then go ahead and work the problem. Then check it. Pause the video now to work the problem. Wow, that was quick. You got 8, so did I. So the least common multiple is 8, and so the least common denominator is 8. So I already have 1 as 8 already. So 2 1/8 stays the same. Remember not to mess with the big whole numbers until you're all done with making the like fractions. Okay, so 3/4 I put across from 8. 4 goes times what gives me 8? Well, it's 2. So I take my denominator times 2 and my numerator times 2, because whatever you do the denominator, you do with the numerator. So I have 6/8. So I have 2 1/8 minus 6/8. Oh, this is my favorite type of problem. So I come over and I make this 1, and I took a whole pi over. Guess what? If I had everything divided into 8s, I bring over, that's right, 8/8. That's a whole pi. So whatever my denominator is, I just double it. Okay? So 8/8 plus 1/8 is 9/8. All right, now I can subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. And of course, you leave the like denominator, which is 8. Okay, so I have 3. Then 1, I just bring down, because 1 minus 0 is 1. So 1 3/8 is my answer. If you got that, great. If you didn't, fix it now. This may have given you a little bit of trouble, but just remember, whatever the divisor is, you just double it to make a whole. Pause the video now if you need to. Rose bought 1 3/4 yard of material. She used 2/3 yard of material. How much material does she have left? You may use fraction strips or drawings to help solve the problem. Record your work and your answer in your math spiral. Find a least common denominator by listing out the multiples. I know you know how to do this. Then go ahead and solve the problem. Pause the video now to write your multiples and solve your problem. Okay, 12 is the least common multiple. Therefore, it's going to be my least common denominator. So I'll go ahead and I put it across 3/4 from the denominator. The 12 goes right across from the denominator. 4 times what gives me 12? 3. So I multiplied my denominator by 3, so I multiplied my numerator by 3. Then I come down here. I put 2/3, the denominator right across from 12. 3 times what gives me 12? Well, the answer is 4. So if I multiply my denominator by 4, I multiply my numerator by 4. So now I have 9/12 and 8/12. Remember what I said about the whole numbers. Don't worry about them. Then 9 minus 8 is 1. And then you put 12 because you have like fractions. So 1/12 here. Then I come over 1 minus 0 is 1. So my whole answer is 1 and 1/12. I'll put them together. Don't forget to go back for the whole numbers. Ready for a challenge? I am. 3/4 minus 1/3 minus 1/6. You may use fraction strips or drawings to help solve the problem. Record your work and your answer in your math spiral. Find a least common denominator by listing out multiples. In order of operations, since I only have subtraction, I work from left to right. I will do one problem at a time. For example, I'll do 3/4 minus 1/3, then I will subtract 1/6. Pause the video now. Okay, so I found the common denominator for 4, 3, and 6. Okay, it's 12, because you know it's not 0. Okay, like I said, I'm doing the first two, 3/4 minus 1/3. So I put 12, since it's my common denominator, over here, and I put it down here. Across from 3/4, across from the denominator. 4 times what gives me 12? That answer is 3. So I multiply my denominator by 3 and my numerator by 3. Come up with 9/12. Then 3 times what gives me 12? The answer is 4, so I multiply my denominator by 4 and my numerator by 4, and I get 4/12. So 9 minus 4 is 5, and I leave the 12. So I have 5/12 minus 1/6. Okay, so 5/12 is right here, and I just took it and saved room. Minus 1/6. Well, 6 I still need to turn into a common denominator, so I put 12 across from it. How many 6's go into 12? Well, that answer is 2. So 2, I multiply my denominator by 2 and my numerator by 2, and I get 2/12. So 5 minus 2 is 3, and I leave the 12. Okay, so there you go right here. 5 minus 2 is 3, and 12, Let's see if I can scoot it down, probably. All right, and then I divide both by 3 because I always try my numerator first. And in this case, it does work. So 3 divided by 3 and 12 divided by 3 is 1/4. So the answer is 1/4. Now do your self-assessment. Do you feel pretty confident? If you do, of course, mark 4 or 5. If you don't, let me know by writing another answer.